The Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast. I'm Garrett Weinzerl, and I'm joined, as I always should be, Mr. Kyle Ferguson.
Oh, thank you for having me, Garrett. It's a pleasure to be back.
It's one of those weeks. I'm like, I'm gonna say his name really quick and then not say anything else and see if he's paying attention.
I was paying attention a lot this week. This is, in fact, the first E3 that I think I've followed minute to minute.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
It's an experience, certainly. It's hard. Like, when you just kind of check things after the fact, you're like, oh, man, look at all this cool stuff that's happening. Wow, what an amazing conference. But day to day, man, you get right there in the cringy thick of it.
Oh, yeah, man. I got to say, I think overall, the presentations from the big studios and the big publishers was they were pretty damn good all around. Like, in terms of how they did their presentation, there wasn't a huge slog of awkwardness for the most part, except for EA, because EA has way too many sports games that nobody cares about.
That is kind of the problem, isn't it? They just have their sort of yearly updates, and no one cheers for them. Just kind of stands there awkwardly. But when companies were in full control of what was happening at their event, like the Bethesda press event, that was just them, just their stuff. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and even EA. While like the middle was, like, for me, someone who doesn't enjoy sports games, really weird and just slow, they bookended that thing like crazy. It's like, all right, welcome to EA. Here's Mass Effect. Bam, drop it. Just
dude,
and just let the Western country play.
Yeah, that music choice is what's got me most excited.
Dude, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, anyone who knows the two of us knows that we're just Mass Effect fanboys, and it doesn't really matter what they show, we're excited.
Yeah, right. Who of those people he was running at, firing at, can I romance? That's what I want to know. But no, the twangy sort of, you put on the usual dun, 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 techno music that Mass Effect had. I'm going to think you're doing another game, but that music just made me think of Lone Wanderer, Wild West Space, which is, of course, a favorite genre of mine.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the other end of the EA conference is that new Battlefront game for Star Wars, which I loved the old Battlefronts, man. So this looks great. It looks like what I expected, but it just looks really polished and really immersive and just pretty. I'm excited.
It's interesting how my mind has kind of changed about those games, because that was totally dorm room fodder, the old one, and I loved it. We just played for fun. But nowadays, I'm wondering, like, what kind of mechanics do you have to keep me invested in the game? What sort of things can I unlock and invest myself in? And that's going to be a deciding factor to me. If I had listened to everybody else, I'd have a big old Titanfall stinker in my Origin inventory.
Oh, I like Titanfall. There's nothing wrong with Titanfall. It's a fun game.
People just don't play it, and that's what I want to know. Like, is it?
People play it.
Are we going to have a gimmick that, all my friends are really into for 2 weeks? Or is this actually going to be something we're all kind of serious about, or at least in a throwdown fun way?
Yeah. That's a good point. I don't know. I know I'm buying it regardless of what happens, but...
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Looks fun.
We'll see. The big thing for E3 for me this year was seeing Blizzard say anything at all during the event, because traditionally... they ignore E3 entirely, and they're just like, yeah, well, we got BlizzCon in a few months, so we'll just do our stuff then.
It was the PC of Gamer event, the special sort of lounge they set up, was a very good fit for Blizzard to come out on the couch. There was a lot of oddities, though, throughout that entire event, and it was their first time doing it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think it was still overall really good. I thought Day 9 did a really good job. Obvious and very smart choice. I feel like, hey, we need someone to host what essentially looks like from the stage, Conan O'Brien's talk show, but for PC video games.
We basically need someone who can handle anything that's thrown at them. And
yeah.
Man, the diversity of people he had to deal with, from like CEOs that were throwing sales pitches like the wind, to dudes that I thought their heads were going to explode because they were so damn nervous. Man. Who was it? I think no, never mind. Either way, I forget the guy's name, but he was, every part of the white of his eyes said "flee."
I don't think I saw that. I didn't see the entire thing. I turned it on right before the Heroes of the Dustin Browder and Chris Siggety came out.
Oh well, lucky you. That was a very long event, and Blizzard kind of made it sound like they were going to be in the beginning, But I stayed for the whole thing. It was enjoyable enough. Kind of cool to see where technology's going.
All right. All right. Yeah, it was. I liked it. It was a good E3 overall. Some stuff I'm really stoked about. Nothing completely like blew my pants off. Like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. But you know me, I've never been really big into Fallout, and I ignore Final Fantasy's existence entirely. So this was not the year for me for
No.
E3. Like,
We'll just skip that whole conversation because we're treading on nostalgia there with Final Fantasy. I didn't play 7. So the fact that I saw the machine, like, I feel like I noticed it was Final Fantasy 7 before other people did because I've seen that picture of that darn green machine 1,000 times. And then an oversized sword shows up, and I'm just going, okay, I know what this is.
I'm not crapping on Final Fantasy. It's just never really been a thing for me. It's not a series I really ever dove into. I really like Kingdom Hearts, which is strange because 50% of the fan service is that it's Final Fantasy fan service. But yeah, I don't know. So I have nothing against it. It's just not a game I really play.
I broke my arm 3 times growing up, and I had one turn-based game for each one of those. We did Skies of Arcadia, Grandia for the second broken arm, and the third broken arm was Final Fantasy X. So I did play all of that one.
Gotcha.
You can't do dual joysticks, man, with one broken arm.
That is a very good point. I remember when I had my hand across my fingers run over by an ice skate and trying to.
No.
Yeah. I've got scars. Maybe you can see them across my knuckles. I don't know. Probably not. I don't think this camera can pick it up.
Did they come off?
No, but I did get to see the inside of my hand. That was interesting.
Dude.
Yeah, and nonetheless, so I'm like my whole left hand is just bound up, and I remember trying to play Sega Genesis, like Sonic, and it was a bad idea.
No,
it's a very bad idea. I was like, okay, done. I'm gonna go grab the VHS copy of Star Wars and watch that 1,000,000 times until I heal. So
good choice.
Yeah, you know, maybe slip in a little Jaws there and some Aladdin. You know, your childhood staples.
Jaws, huh? That was a childhood staple for you?
I watched the crap out of Jaws.
It's a good movie.
I had a very big obsession with like the ocean.
Most people in Florida do.
Yeah. It's funny because like that movie petrified my mom and made her never want to go into the water, and that movie made me want to go get my scuba diving license.
All right. Saw the face of fear and dove right in.
I'm not saying I want to be in the water with this damn thing, but I'd like to see less threatening animals in their habitat. Anyways. Man, you mentioned E3 and things just go right off the rails. There's quite a bit to talk about this week, so let's start with this week's Heroes news.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Click the play button, and let's get started.
Okay, Uther. So obviously, most of the big news this week came from Dustin Browder and Chris Siggety going to E3, sitting down on the couch with Day 9, and just being like, hey, yeah, and dude, were you like me when you saw them come out and sit down and start talking about this game and they're like, oh, we've got something to show you? You're just like, oh, are they going to show the same Eternal Conflict trailer we saw a week ago? Because that's where my brain was.
Man, Blizzard's been a lot better about it these past 2 years. So no, I wasn't thinking that.
Gotcha.
You showed me Blizzard 3 years ago. Absolutely. Same thing. Maybe even some like slow sort of slideshow art movements from like Apple Studios.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely give them props. Like they're cranking stuff out, but still, there's this thing in the back of my head, just like they just showed us all this new crap for Eternal Conflict. There's no way they have something new to show us, and I was very wrong, and I was very happy to be so.
Well, not only that, we were sitting on a giant art image of King Leoric staring us right in the face.
That is very true.
So if I did have any bias going into it, it's like I'm really excited to see Skeleton King, but that's all it's going to be, right?
Now I was thinking like, okay, we'll probably get maybe Leoric mentioned, maybe Monk mentioned, but probably all really early on. Like they're not going to go too into it. Maybe we'll see their model. I wasn't expecting a trailer that showed all this stuff off, and it was great. They did a really good job and surprised me. We got to look at both the Monk and King Leoric. King Leoric we'll talk about in a second because he actually got fully fleshed out. And what is going on with XSplit?
Something's wrong with XSplit?
My camera on keeps It's currently black.
Oh,
It's
oh.
like you bring up a chat and then
Wait, there we go. That was exactly what happened.
and it's black again. So I don't know what you're doing. There we go.
I'll just leave that open.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
Okay.
Well played, Kyle.
Thank
Well
you.
played. Oh, I can't wait till my internet is fixed. Jesus. What was I talking about? The monk. The monk
Yes.
was previewed, but not nearly to the extent of Skeleton King / King Leoric. What do you call him? Do you call him Skeleton King or Leoric?
I think we'll be calling him Leoric. Skeleton King takes me back to Dota.
Okay.
He is Wraith King over there now, but for 10 years he was Skeleton King.
Yes, that is very true. And then Blizzard made them change it. Because, hey guys, Diablo.
But they did a great job kind of slipping the monk in there. We had Johanna battling the Skeleton King, and we're like, all right, there he is. And then Monk flipping all over, and they announced that he's going to be a support, despite all his many punches, and what definitely looked like his seven-sided strike.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And dude, I'm so excited for a battle healer. Like, I love that. Like, Rhaegar's kind of, he's in the stuff, he's in the fight, throwing down. But I'm fine. We can have more of those. I love battle healers. They're fun.
It's a great archetype.
The thing is, and they didn't really go, it didn't seem like they really went too deep into it. I'm hoping that he is an actual healer and not like a Tassadar support, where it's like he's mentioned, it says he's a support, but he's not really a support.
That would be bizarre of them to do, particularly when they've said they're going to relabel Tyrande and Tassadar coming up here, then to just add another one into the fit. But they've said that you choose his trait at level 1, so he does have some sort of hybrid diversity.
So wait, there's a choice of trait?
Yeah, your level 1 talent
That's
choice
cool.
is your trait.
That is very cool.
Which makes sense. You have all your mantras and things you set up for Diablo 3, so why not carry
I
it
would
over?
argue that makes sense for any Diablo hero, though, because so many Diablo heroes, you can build them so uniquely compared to maybe like my barbarian, something like your barbarian, and so on and so forth. So
True enough,
still surprising.
Right, other than shouts, though, I mean, his are just all on one page of Diablo 3. You basically are picking which trait you want to have. You can only have one active at a time. It's a very important part of his kit. So I'm glad they decided to make that choice. I'm just concerned that it's going to be too min-maxy. It's going to be like, give everyone around you 10% damage resist. Or choose between 10% more healing. And you go, oh, no, one of these is clearly better, but I'm not math. I can't decide.
I'm sure they've got to be a little more flashy than that.
I would assume so.
Because also, I mean, whatever the case is, there's got to be a way to visually distinguish a monk that takes trait A over a monk that takes trait B.
Right.
Because yeah, you can bring up stats, you can switch to talents, and you can actually read what he took at level 1. But from a game design standpoint, I got to assume that that's something they're doing. You know, he picks a certain trait, he has a different color aura, or I don't know, his moves have different spell effects, something.
Right. Which would be cool to see auras in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, chat room right there with you. Hooray! New support. Just a new support. I don't care what it is. New support, please.
Not only that, but a Diablo support, so we can complete those dailies that much faster.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. They talked a little bit more of the first Diablo battleground we're beginning, Battlefield of Eternity, and not necessarily an objective. What's the word I'm looking for? A feature on it that just warms the deepest recesses of my heart, Kyle. There's a treasure goblin on the map.
There's actually going to be a treasure goblin on every map for the duration of the event.
On every map? Oh, wow. Okay, I thought it was just the Battlefield of Eternity.
No, every single map is going to start up with a treasure goblin running around it, and everyone each day during whatever the length of this event may be, the Eternal Conflict, maybe 3 months, I think they said, before they move on to releasing another map, another group of heroes. It'll be a daily quest you have. And so once you kill it, you complete the daily quest for that day. Everyone runs out, tries to kill the treasure goblin before the gates open. And they're hoping it's kind of a encouragement to people to not to go AFK in the first couple seconds.
maybe we should just make it permanent.
Really, really wait on that load screen. I share a lot of people's fears that the treasure goblin gets away. Fodder, man. Fodder for, we don't have enough damage. Where were you? Blah, blah, blah. It's going to cause some arguments.
That is a good point.
But all the better that it's just a daily quest, right? Because you get it done once, you're fine for the day. And you don't need to rage at someone because you're missing out on 10 gold every single match.
Is it 10 gold? Is that it?
We don't know what it is.
Okay.
Some amount of gold. And I'm assuming, slightly trivial.
I would think it'd be like 50.
If it is a daily quest, then yeah, maybe we can go up into the 100, 300s.
Yeah, if it's an actual daily quest that takes up a slot, it would have to be.
It's part of the event, much like XP isn't taking up a stim pack slot. This will just be happening in the background.
Gotcha. Okay. I think it's great. I'm so happy that this is being put in. I do not care if there are people who are going to get angry because we don't catch it. I think this is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's something I ever thought about. It's not, we do a lot of, we do a lot of armchair designing on the show. And I don't think we've ever been like, you know what they should do, Kyle? I think they should put a treasure goblin in the game. And when you kill it in the first 30 seconds, you get gold.
I'm excited about these sort of things. This is very unique. This is more than I thought they'd be doing. I thought maybe they'd change out all the cores to be Diablo style for 2 weeks or something like that. But it makes our generic maps that much more interesting when we have these big release events. And I do applaud Blizzard for doing that because, let's face it, holding back is really hard to do in video games, in TV. You just want to computerize the whole thing, shake the camera as much as everything's awesome. But, when you gate yourself like this and allow Diablo to become an event, it's just that much more exciting.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it, which I feel like we've been saying for, only 1 week now, I guess. But doesn't seem like more than that. Every time we're playing, we're just like, ugh, want that new battleground.
Well, they had a nice little video intro for it. We had Deckard Cain doing a voiceover.
Yeah. It just, I was expecting them to just be like, just kidding, new Diablo expansion.
It did seem like that for just a second, but they were showing old pictures, the old doodles. And we saw some of the heroes we currently have in those doodles, Diablo, Tyrael, but there were a couple other images hidden throughout there. There was Ariel, the Angel of Hope, and Imperius. Don't know if that's a hint, if that's coming anywhere close. They said the monk is pretty far out. They don't even have a build to show at this event. So I doubt by the time Internal Conflict wraps up, we're going to be seeing Imperius or Ariel. But hey, that'd be neat.
Yeah. Well, we know that the Butcher is next.
Yes.
So Butcher coming probably, not next week, but probably the week after. And then 3 or 4 weeks before the next hero, which I would assume it would be the monk. Or no, probably Skeleton King, because they actually showed a build for him.
I just know for this household that Kristen immediately stood up and screamed at the screen, "Get up, Skeleton King!" and then threw the Butcher aside. She's no longer purchasing that guy because she just wants the Skeleton King, man.
I am right there with Kristen, man. There's just something about Leoric that just speaks to me. I'm just like, I want to play that guy. And you know me and my opinion of fantasy monsters. I tend to think just a walking skeleton is one of the lamest creature designs on the planet. But Leoric looks great, like his armor and his helmet, and he's still got the awesome hair coming off of his skull head.
For me, it's all about that spinal column just sitting right there. Oh, okay. Hey, looks like True Villainy in the chat just let us know that they posted a Twitter teaser about Ariel. And
it's Manny. True Villain Manny. Not a teaser. They squashed it. It's quote, "Sorry to get your hopes up, but Ariel will not make an appearance in the upcoming Eternal Conflict, perhaps someday."
Bummer.
Yep. So.
Which I'm sure it's the same for poor Imperius.
I'm sure Imperius is on the board.
Oh, right. Well, Malthael's still sitting in the background, and everybody wants him.
Yeah, I feel like we'll get Malthael before we get Imperius, but I don't know. At some point, I'm sure they're just going to start putting guys in because of the role that they fit, and they need more of those roles, not so much they're really famous Blizzard characters.
Exactly. Yeah, we're sitting on Lily, Brightwing, some pretty odd ones.
Yeah,
that they're helping fill in out the roster.
Without a doubt, I think the oddest. It would just be like, random knoll number 3 that you needed a chunk of hair from.
Exactly.
That's the exact. They just gave Brightwing a name. It's a fairy dragon. I collected those scales, man, out in the Blades Edge Mountains. They were stingy with those drops.
I just remember it as a useless, probably not useless to pro players. Let's not get ahead of myself here. But at least from Warcraft 3, playing the campaign, and they're like, you got yourself the fairy dragon. Oh, good. Let me just build everything else first.
So looking at the Skeleton King's build, I'm going to ask you, what are you most excited about in his kit? And then I'm going to also answer my own question without giving you time to answer my question, which is, holy crap, March of the Black King looks like they just dropped in the boss fight from straight out of Act 1 of Diablo 3.
That's all I wanted, right? And it looks badass.
Yeah. Folks, if you missed it, to best explain it in an audio format, that really awesome move that the Skeleton King does in the boss fight where he kind of goes half Wraith and just swings for the fences and you can't do anything about it. That's one of his options for a heroic.
Yes, it is. His Q is actually just one swing of it, skeletal swing.
Yeah.
But his heroic is 3 big wind-up swings of it, and that's pretty awesome.
I can't wait.
For flavor, his other heroic is really cool, but I just see everything going wrong. In Tomb or Tombstone, we're actually hearing 2 names about this, but you create a U-shaped sort of wrought iron gate that pops up and locks people in, and you're big enough to body block anyone who would try to walk out of it.
I feel like that's going to be like where the pros go with this, because if you have a coordinated team, this is just going to be horrifying.
And we don't know the cooldown on it, for one thing, too. I mean, you look at Tassadar's ults and you go, well, clearly Archon, and then you realize like a 6-second cooldown on the wall, maybe that ain't so bad.
Yeah. But I'm also just thinking, because they're saying that March of the Black King does pretty incredible damage, so I'm just thinking, like, somebody stuns a guy and then just wind up the March of the Black King and just let it go.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a wombo combo central. You just gotta position yourself far enough back so you take those strides and kill people with them.
Yeah. How cool is his trait?
I think that's what Kristen's most excited about, but I'm scared. I'm scared for the world out there because people might finally want to die, and that's not always a good thing.
I still don't think so. And there's plenty of heroes already in the game that have something cool that they can do once they've died. And this doesn't sound like it's so broken that you would want to die as well. He becomes a wraith. He doesn't actually like just disappear from the battleground entirely. He sticks around as a ghost after death, and you have full control over him. You can use his abilities. But according to Dustin Browder, the abilities don't do damage. Instead, they just kind of slow or otherwise annoy the opponents. And instead of dealing damage, it's actually removing time from your death timer.
Yep, and then when it's all done, all clocked down, you pop up exactly wherever you're standing.
Yeah, just yes, just give it to me now. I want it.
That's pretty cool.
This is a really unique ability. And once again, very anxious to see how it plays out in the game.
People in the chat are saying that he might have the same problems as Arthas because he has no gap closer. That may not be the case, but Wraithwalk certainly allows you to get through any CC that would stop you from getting someone in the back.
Yeah, that's his E ability.
It actually works just like the new Protoss unit for Legacy of the Void. You just stand there and your ghost heads out, avoiding all CC, and then you spawn wherever your controlled ghost ended up in that couple seconds.
Nice. I mean, for some reason that's making me think of Sylvanas, but that's different.
Sure, Sylvanas says you shoot out and then you teleport to where it is. This one, you actually lose control of your hero and just walk around as a ghost for 2 seconds.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to them, and there's preview videos galore. We got links to them in the show notes over at amove.tv/ITN, so go check it out. I mean, from a flavor aspect, I'm not disappointed that he doesn't have really any huge movement capabilities because it's a Skeleton King. He should just be this huge, shambling horror.
Right, stomp around a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're all excited to see what the various talents are. I hope at least one of them, like Kerrigan's Zerglings, that you could at least get a skeleton on the field somewhere.
That would be nice.
Like,
We'll have to see.
it could be complete crap. Like, you kill a hero and they raise a skeleton for 5 seconds or something dumb like that. And nobody ever takes it. But I need that flavor, right? And of course, you know, the video's a big advertisement. He's wrecking completely by themselves casters the entire time. But whatever. Hey,
Well-
we'll actually have PTR by the time he comes out. So we'll get to play him before purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get to take him on the public test realm and see how it works. So, we also got another skins and mounts preview, hot on the heels of all of these E3 announcements. We got to look at the Master Butcher, which is horrifying.
Yeah.
He's like Leatherface. He's got this big leather mask on. And it's just, it's just I don't want to look at it. I don't want to be trapped anywhere in a room with that thing.
He's pretty creepy. He's huge, man.
He is. He's very. Man, I hate the Butcher.
I don't want that guy barreling down on me.
No, I don't. I really don't.
And according to a tweet that came out from Trixler recently, he might be a bit of a game changer. Apparently everyone's a little too concerned that he's just sort of a mislabeled assassin warrior, but that doesn't seem to be the case. He's going to mess stuff up.
I mean, that was definitely the vibe I got from them from their the event with the show matches.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I took it with a slight grain of salt because that first game they showed us was just like, you could tell, all right, well, this is the best possible scenario for the Butchers. This is what we're going to use to highlight it. But I don't know. They really they made it a point in the videos to call out all of the heroes. Like they were riding Illidan because everyone, and you could tell it was because everyone is on the forum saying Illidan OP nerf Illidan, and they were constantly making these points about all of the ways that the Butcher hard counters Illidan.
Yeah. Not too upset about that.
I'm not too upset about it either. I'm sick to death of Illidans. I don't think he's OP though. Like I think he's fine. If you are out there and I feel like if you're out there and you think Illidan is OP and you haven't played him, go play him because he's really hard to play correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to learn how to stay in fights when you should and possibly die because of it, Illidan's a good choice. Raynor, Falstad, those are all other good heroes that if you're good at that skill of knowing when to stand your ground, you can kick ass. But if you think you need to run away from every engagement, it's not going to go well.
Yeah. And this isn't me being elitist, by the way. I'm terrible at Illidan.
No, well, and it's okay to, put those out there right now. I fear for people who are just getting into this game, and they're thinking, man, Lily, I'm having some trouble against her. They go over to the official forums. Everything is being called OP over there right now. It is a mess. You wouldn't believe some of the threads. It looks like we're back in that Nova patch. You know the one I'm talking about, where Nova was in every game and just schooling everybody. No one can figure out. But, of course, we've been in this game for a while. You just look for the shimmer. You keep your guard up, and you slam her when she shows up. No big deal, right? Man, these people are calling for her to be extradited.
Yeah. While you were talking, I just real quick went over to Hotslogs to see who's changed the most in the past week. And everyone's pretty much staying the same. It looks like Kael'thas got a 1% bump. So he's still in the top 10 though. But yeah.
Yeah, the fact that we can complain about maybe an overpowered Brightwing, and that's still only a 56% win rate, that's pretty darn good for a new release MOBA.
Yeah, and again, this is Hotslogs, which isn't a 100% perfect picture, but
right.
It's the best tool that we non-Blizzard folk have to refer to.
And man, is it a great tool! I've been really married to this thing recently.
Oh, me too. I check it every day.
Keeps you honest, make sure you actually are playing heroes that you're good at. I'm up to 78% win rate with Anubarak right now. So
nice.
If I haven't been streaming my Heroes Leagues, it's because they're very buggy and very boring.
I'm really proud of my my Kael'thas, my Brightwing, and my Zagara, and my Jaina, because I've logged a lot of games with all of those, and they're all above a 60% win rate.
My Diablo right now sits at 66.7. I need to lose Well, I need to play
Fun.
like 10 games and lose maybe 3 or something. I'm not sure how to get a 0.1 down, but I need it.
So you can get to 66.6%
Exactly.
on Diablo. That should be an achievement for a thing that isn't actually in the game.
Right.
So we get achievements on whatever. Did you see the Vrykul Leoric in the skin preview?
Very cool.
Not something I ever really thought of. Totally works.
Yeah. He's going to
And
be
now-
moving like that, and all the abilities kind of make sense.
And personally, I think this is the first sign of a Warcraft and Diablo crossover. I think this means that it's existing in the same world, and King Leoric was actually a Vrykul.
Oh, wow. He must be real bummed he doesn't have blood anymore to paint faces with. This
I miss running those. I miss running Utgard runs multiple times a day, trying to get my Red Sword of Courage or whatever it was for tanking. Oh.
Well, maybe it wasn't the actual runs of dungeons just in general in Wrath of the Lich King were amazing.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Well, let's not spend too much time talking about pictures, but Master Skinny Leoric certainly threw me for a loop because that is one big ass helmet.
It looks like our friend Ben called it Skeleton Pope.
Yeah.
And he's not entirely wrong. I still think it looks pretty sweet. But once again, very much like Johanna, who has, I think, a really sweet master skin. I don't want to cover her awesome haircut. And Leoric has just luscious locks, man. I don't want to cover that up with a helmet.
Oh, yeah. Total rock star. And plus skeleton face. You gotta love it.
Yeah. You gotta, strike fear into the hearts of your enemies.
But we did get to see the Archangel Diablo skin.
Dude, that looks so sweet.
I've got my master skin Diablo. I'm not picking it up. But
Oh, and yeah, and you like being a monster, so angelification is not something I would assume you would be interested in.
But, applause all around for working the 3 into the Halo.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, I love the Halo design. And I like that it's broken in the front and still pointed.
Exactly.
It's great. It's wonderful. I'm very excited about the Tyrael Charger mount because I was looking at the mounts the other day. I'm like, I don't have a single thing that looks like it belongs with a holy warrior.
Oh, that is going to look good on Johanna.
Yeah, Johanna doesn't really have a mount that works. Uther, Tyrael, Angelic Bala. Looks sweet.
Those are going to be their... I assume in the background that's their biggest cash grab because you put out something like that and people have to have it. I play Nazebo all the time. I have to have Nazebro, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, the Tyrael Charger looks great. I mean, it looks exactly like the Tyrael Charger that's a mount in World of Warcraft, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it's a sweet-looking mount.
Butcher's got his Battle Beast.
Yeah. Speaking of mounts, the Hearthstone card back went live today.
It did.
With, no announcement or fanfare or warning or, I saw a tweet from a fan. They're like, hey, it's in here. I'm like, oh, well, darn. Let me log in and take a look. And, oh, dude, it's great. I love it. I love flying around on a Hearthstone card back. It makes me so happy.
These reward systems they have are pretty darn on point. I mean, just having to get a WoW hero to level 100, just having to win 100 Hearthstone games, they're all things that I've already done, but still enough that I have it above other people that makes it special.
Yeah, and even if, you weren't, if we were just starting this game in other Blizzard games, that'd be really cool that you knew, if you enjoyed them all, that you had these kind of cross-game goals that you could work towards.
Yeah.
I think it's really neat. I like it. I think they should have more cross-game things across all their games. Give me, I don't know. I mean, I guess they kind of did with this, but I'd like to see more of it.
Sure. Well, there's more Blizzard games coming. I'd be very surprised if we didn't see more like this. Plus this Eternal Conflict, thing going on. There's nothing going on in Diablo right now. They do their stream every week. They have their seasons, but not enough to really implement something directly into this game, so they made an event.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's great. Heroes
6 out of 5.
6.5
out of 10.
6.5 out of 10. Love it. The Heroes of the Storm DreamHack tournament happened this past weekend, and I won't spend too much time on it because we actually have another eSport piece of news to discuss, but it was a solid tournament. I really enjoyed it. The finals were a bit of a steamroll, but do yourself a favor and make sure you watch the final game of the finals, because it doesn't go the way that it looks like it's going for the majority of the game, and it makes me very happy. And also, that's Team Liquid. I'm very happy to see Team Liquid doing so well.
Well, and it's DreamHack, which from StarCraft we all know was a fabulous tournament. So it's great to see Heroes of the Storm happening there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, yeah, it's still a relatively small tournament, but I mean, Heroes is still just getting started. So, and this weekend we have a pretty large scale event going down as far as Heroes is concerned, which is the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is the North America Open Live. It's going on this weekend, so this will be the round of 8. And whoever wins this is going to get $15,000 and a spot in the American Championship this is the championship leading up to BlizzCon.
I love opens. I wouldn't want to organize one. I think they have no place in, far down the road competitive land. But when a game is first just come out, I'm so happy that anyone can participate in this thing.
Dude, and look at the top 8. Most of this, all right, I understand. But one of these teams is named Pull Play-Doh Some Tangos, and I know nothing about them.
Bring it.
Like, that's great. And then there's the plays. Also, know nothing about them. And they're going up against Tempo Storm.
Yep.
Which, if you're a Hearthstone fan, you're very familiar with that team.
It's reassuring to know that some of the teams that have really been in the highlights are actually performing well in the opens. We haven't all been fooling ourselves with these invite-only tournaments.
Right, absolutely. Now, as soon as this, the BlizzCon tournament gets rolling, now we're going to get to see who has the real talent. Like, who's going to have some staying power. I'm looking forward to it. Cloud9 has 2 teams in this.
I believe it. They're kind of a force in MOBAs.
Yeah. Maelstrom and Vortex.
Have a couple of winnings under their belt.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Did you see the International hit 14 million today?
I did. I'm not surprised anymore. It's the International. I just hear the International. I'm just like, oh yeah, millions of dollars. I don't know how many millions. It's just going to be a lot of millions. And I'll see a lot of articles saying, oh my God, can you believe this? And my answer to you, article writer, is yes. Yes, I can.
The budget of small countries.
The International is such an amazing thing.
I hope I can make it again this year.
I hate you.
Here in Seattle again.
I want to go so
Hell
bad.
Yeah.
I don't watch Dota eSports at all during the year. But you damn well better believe I tune in for the International.
Oh, I watched the Super Bowl this last year, and I don't watch an ounce of sports. Just kind of what happens.
Yeah. Hell, it happened when I was in vacation. I was on vacation in like Key West last year, and I was trying to watch it on my phone. Like I want to see what happens.
Well, it looks like they're treating the Open really smart this year. They have 4 sets of casters taking on multiple divisions of the tournament.
Yeah, it's quite the group of casters.
Yeah, we have Solid Jake going up there with Huck. That'll be a cool dynamic.
Slow down, sir. Huck is casting heroes.
I know, right? What is this world?
When did this happen?
Well, he was on Town Hall Heroes the other night and really has some pretty extensive game knowledge.
Well, yeah, he was an okay StarCraft player. I mean,
what, top 3 control?
Never really did anything. He doesn't have anything under his belt like first North American player to win an MLG after the Koreans started participating in it or anything like that.
Nothing like that.
I mean, nothing like that happened. Huck's an amazing StarCraft player.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna be watching the hell out of this weekend if I can find the time in between. Wedding planning is taking up so much of my time. It's also exciting though. Booked a taco truck this week for food. The tacos were amazing.
Awesome.
That's
great.
That's a big relief off my back. Food's taken care of and it doesn't taste bad.
Sweet. I'm excited for it. And chat, try some other names. They're trying to figure out our caster duo name. I'm not sure I'm digging the Kayet or Garrickle.
Garrickle.
Not sure where you got that extra K.
It's kind of, is it wrong that I think Garrickle is hilarious?
Garrickle's pretty, has a decent ring to it. We can always go with Winesenson.
What about Garile?
Ooh.
That sounds like a Street Fighter.
Dude, that's an orc name if I've ever heard one. There we go. Guile. That's nice.
That is a Street Fighter. Not spelled the same, but yeah. I'm fine with Guile. Let's go with Guile.
Cool.
So, so what is this? What is this mini news? Oh, it's a verify account scam.
Yep, we had an email in the box, and this has been going around Reddit for a bit. So if you haven't heard about it, and if you have, just kind of sit hot for a second. There is a scam going around inside the game, particularly if you grabbed a key off one of those random posts. People have your account, and they're messaging random people to get you to sign up on this Chinese website so they can steal your account, take all your gold. I don't know what they're going to do with it. Maybe sell off your account. But if a GM ever messages you in-game, they're not real. They'll contact you through your email and other official places.
Good. I mean, if you're like us and have been playing WoW since vanilla, man, I've seen it all.
Oh yeah, you just block.
And I've fallen for some of it. I have had that terrible feeling where you log in and your character's naked in the middle of the blasted lands. You're just like, what? No, and you hearth back and you check the bank and everything's empty. Yet for some odd reason your bags are completely full of mithril.
Wait, why are your bags full of mithril?
Because they were using my tune to farm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The only one I've had is the emergency calls to a friend while they're at work and going, dude, someone's on your account. I know you're at work. Get home now. And us all yelling at some farmer or hacker who stole their account to get off.
Who I'm sure blocked them immediately.
Probably.
The good old days. The early WoW days. Weird crap happened. Before I move into this week's strategy segment, we do want to thank those of you who are supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. You guys are awesome. We had a big bump this week. We're getting really close to our next goal.
We're getting dangerously close to using that Guile name.
We are. So yeah, folks, our next goal, we're gonna cast a game a month, and we're gonna dress to the nines while doing it. So look forward to that. It's not looking like it's that far out, which excites me. So thank you so much, folks, for supporting the show. This week, thank you, Blue Impulse. Thank you, SB Conrad, and thank you, Joshua Graves. Thank you so much for supporting Into the Nexus. We really appreciate it.
Dude, welcome, Blue Impulse. You're taking me back.
I know. Starcast fans. Wonderful.
Glad you're still here.
Him and frickin' Ixar on Twitter this week, man. 1 year doing balanced design for Hearthstone now. You've come a long way. Ixar. Katraya-san in the chat room says we should be Garial Hellscream.
Ooh.
Garish's cousin twice removed.
Man.
I like that. All right, let's talk strategy. Let's talk a strategy or two, shall we?
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
And this is your brain on Fell Magic.
I like my brain on Fell Magic. Can I keep it that way?
I guess so.
All right.
It's a free country, right? Just don't do fell magic in public. It's basically the understood rule.
Yeah. So we've gotten a lot of emails that have a lot of random questions here and there about Hero League. So Kyle, you thought it'd be a cool idea to just take all these questions and compile them into this week's strategy segment, and we'll just make this a big Heroes League Q&A mailbag.
Yeah, it's a good time for it. We just did 4 weeks of Heroes We're Noobs with, and now a lot of you, after 4 weeks, if you got in the beta 6 weeks, you're basically getting up there in level and ready for Heroes League.
Absolutely. So let's talk about it. Our first question comes to us from Archmonkey, who says, when do you know you're ready for solo queue in Hero League?
That's a loaded question.
Well, it looks like you have a loaded answer, if the notes are any indication.
Yeah, so Archmonkey here said that he likes to play support, and that he's kind of nervous because the launch event, the extra XP, which is currently up to 100% extra XP per game, along with the free stim pack at level 10, got him to level 30 way too quickly, and he didn't feel he was ready to go into Hero League when he got there. And as an onlooker, I think a lot of people are sharing this statement, and if they're not nervous, they should be and get out of my Heroes League. No, just kidding.
You elitist jerk.
But he says he wants to play support, which is kind of a scary thing because you're only going to be ever as good as your team. That being said, I'd love an awesome support, saving your butt, getting in there. Some of them do amazing damage.
I also think support is, for me, I look at support as the least stressful thing to bring to a team. For me, I think it's just because naturally that's where my head is at. I understand it. Somebody's low, I need to heal them. It's a really simple thing to understand, at least for me.
I could back you up on that, but you play Uther, which I do not understand how that can be calming.
That said, Brightwing is definitely my supportive choice at the moment.
Sure, I'm hanging out in the general vicinity of everyone else. I did it, guys.
Yeah. And I really like her, like the tools she brings to the team. You know, I love getting that polymorph off at the right time and just negating Illidan entirely.
Yep.
I love getting, saving someone's bacon with pixie dust, or getting really cocky and giving someone a speed boost with pixie dust so that they can kill someone. That makes me really happy.
Brightwing's kit's amazing right now.
Yeah, but that was not his question. Anyway, it does sort of that does play into my answer, which is I think if you're going to do anything, I would recommend starting with support, because I think a lot of the new players I talk to, they're worried that there's only a handful of heroes that I feel comfortable with. I'm going to go into Hero League, draft is going to happen. I'm going to be fighting with not only my own team to get the hero I want to play, but it might get taken by the opposing team. I feel like if you go in and you want to play support, people are going to let you play support.
Definitely.
Like, it's very unlikely that there will be another person on your team that just direly wants to play support.
I guess what I'm struggling with Archmonkey here is that when I think of grinding out, right now it's 100% either tanks, because I'm good at them, or a high-impact assassin, because those are things that win games. Having a great support in the background is an awesome boon, is going to carry you really far. But if I want to make the biggest impact on my group, I should be the assassin.
Fair enough. I think it depends on what you're looking for. I mean, I find support play to be rather unstressful. But I'm definitely with you. If I'm just grinding solo queue, I assassin every game if I can.
Right, and to kind of work into that, bursty assassins are a lot less stressful than auto attack assassins, because everybody knows when you're the Rainer and you're wailing on a Johanna. There is no hiding that. You shoot off a Blizzard, though, you hit the Johanna, you hit the Lily a little bit, everyone's cool with it, right? You did your job today.
Well, you could still hit the Johanna with a Frostbolt, and then you're...
Yes, then you're targeting the wrong person.
Yeah.
But if you're auto-attacking the tank as Jaina, nobody cares.
Yeah, because that's not what you're there for.
Yeah, throw around your paper sometime.
Yeah, I mean, chat room saying, just learn 2 supports, and at least you'll always play something you want to play. Unless for some reason the opposing team goes double support, which really isn't a thing in the meta at the moment. Used to be really popular.
Right, and because there is a meta for such a young game, people feel more compelled to pick counter picks. When they see an enemy, go for that Illidan, they go, we need Brightwing. And, someone like you who wants to play support will grab Brightwing, but it's not your best. And that ends up going worse than if you just pick something you're really good at and ignored them.
Yeah.
So I agree with the chat. I think that's a great answer. Find 2 supports, get in there as soon as possible, because the longer you hang out in quick match, you're going to pick up some ticks and probably some really weird talent builds that aren't going to carry over into Heroes League, if that's your goal. Like for me, we played an after show game last week where we did all specialists. It was a blast, but I feel like I cheated a little bit because I love Asmodan as this sort of Swiss Army build where I get like heals and shields and blood for blood, and I have a healing ward and storm shield for some awful reason. And because there are no specialist supports other than Abathur, I ended up healing a ton and kicking butt. But that is a build I would never, ever want to take into Heroes League. I have, and I've learned my lesson.
Yeah. And really, I'm still stuck on your whole, well, if you pick Brightwing and not good with Brightwing, then you're not bringing your best. And I'm just like, well, just get good with Brightwing, because Brightwing's amazing.
Fair enough.
If I knew Archmonkey really well and he was just my buddy who I play games with a lot and he's just getting into heroes and he's like, well, I want to do support. What would you recommend? I would really try and lead him down the lane of right wing. It's like I can't think of a single scenario where I'm unhappy about having a right wing on my team.
It's true. It's true. Nerf definitely coming her way though.
Really?
Something's happening there, man.
You think so?
I think so, man. I think we're going to see some damage reduction on Anubarak, and we're going to see something happen to Brightwing. I don't know what. I don't know if maybe they'll gear her towards being more of an area effect healer and take away maybe some of her skills, like Shield at level 4. I don't know. But Blizzard, going from the StarCraft team, Team 1, they cannot ignore this win rate right now on Hot Slogs.
Fair enough. I'm so. I don't want Anubarak to disappear again.
Me neither, man.
That said, I don't need to see him in every game, so I don't think I'd be completely against it.
No, and his win rate right now is 61%. That's a little too high, and his damage is just way too high in general in games. A tank shouldn't be doing that much. As much as I love him, I'm so happy. Like I built up these piles of skills, Diablo and Nubarak, and all of a sudden they got good. I'm afraid of that nerf coming too, but things need to be even.
Yeah.
So, Archmonkey, you're ready for it. When you have the confidence to get in there, you're going to learn a lot by doing it. If you're playing support, you really don't have to pay too much attention to map mechanics or timings, and you probably have one build you already really like anyway, and it's not going to change much from your quick match build being support. So just do it.
Sweet. I have breaking news, Kyle.
Oh?
I have breaking news. We can announce that we're going to have a guest on next week.
Oh, awesome.
And not one guest, Kyle. We're going to have 2 guests on, apparently.
Oh.
We're going to have 2 members from the Heroes of the Storm team on. We're going to have, I apologize. I haven't learned how to pronounce your names yet. I just got the email. Next week's folks, we'll be interviewing John DeShazer and Kent Eric Hagman from the Heroes of the Storm team.
Awesome.
I am so excited. Scheduling has been insane because with E3 and everything going on. So I just got confirmation. So sweet. Awesome. Episode 56 is going to kick ass.
Will we be doing that on a different day?
No, it should be the same day, same time.
Sick.
If we have to change the time, I will make sure and alert our listeners via the RSS feed if I have to.
Perfect.
So
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that'll be great. So I have a feeling I'm going to be talking a lot about the Eternal Conflict.
Well, naturally. I mean, next week it's going to drop in just a couple days after that show.
Yeah. Oh, get hyped. Get hyped. Can't wait. I can't freaking wait. Anyways, back to Archmonkey. I don't know. I don't know if there's much more I'd say to Archmonkey. I think if you want to play support, play support. I totally get this. This is what I did when I first got in Hero League. I understand that mentality. I feel very comfortable in my support pants. I think that's the role I would do, man. If we made a hardcore team and I had to fill the same role every game, I think I would call support.
Fine by me, man.
So I think you'll be just fine, Archmonkey. And you can always try a few games. It's not, your game's not going to explode. You're not going to get kicked or banned or whatever if you try your first Hero League game and things don't go super well.
Right, and remember, rank 50 to 40, you don't lose any points. It's a very encouraging system.
Yeah, absolutely. And all you're going to do is get your MMR around where it should be. Now, at the moment, it's wonky, but it's wonky, so who cares? Just get in there and play. So, good luck to you, man. Next question came to us from Playboy Dave, multiple time writer-inner, if that's a thing.
It's a thing now.
There it is. He says, is there a right or wrong group composition? Obviously, a support healer is pretty critical, but how interchangeable are assassins and specialists? Man, loaded questions up and down the board here.
Yeah. Well, they're important things to know, and they're very scary when you're moving from an environment of picking whatever you want to play to the on-point selection. And you want to know what's best.
Yeah. I feel like specialists, it depends. You have specialists like Sylvanas who are pretty damn good on every freaking battleground of the game. But then you have specialists like Gazlo who excel on Sky Temple, and I've been seeing some sick Gazlo playing Dragon Knight late and Dragonshire lately because man, no one can hold down a shrine like Gazlo.
Yeah.
But is pretty awful in most other scenarios.
I would also drop Zagara in there as well, and Sergeant Hammer. Yeah, Zagara, not someone I would ever want to tank to Haunted Mines, really. But you put that on Tomb of the Spider Queen, you got sight on every turn in. It's wonderful.
Zagara is pretty... Haunted Mines is really the only battleground I wouldn't want to play Zagara. I would be totally stoked to have a Zagara on any other battleground, personally. I'm also really biased and just got her to 10 and Master Skinned this week, so...
Hey, good for you, man.
Full disclosure, Garrett has a huge biased opinion towards Zagara, but...
I love just all the phrases that just flew by your brain, and you picked the best one. Good job there. A raging, moving on.
Raging bias. I feel like in most scenarios, better safe than sorry. Like, just go with assassins. Like, right now, you want a Kael'thas, you want a Jaina. Sylvanas is a specialist, but you would like a Sylvanas on your team if you could.
Yeah.
Who would you add into that mix?
Wait, what's the mix?
Just he's saying how interchangeable are assassins and specialists, and for me, it's hero specific.
Yeah, I think right now Sylvanas is really the only one that you would say, we need that damage dealer, we need a cleanup. What are you going to pick? And someone picks Sylvanas, you go, okay, sure. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think you could have 3 assassins and it work. I don't think you could have 3 specialists and it be an easy ride.
No, mainly because it's an overinvestment. The easiest one to consider is Murky and Abathur. Those two, unless of course they're on Skype, well practiced, kicking ass, it's not really a combination that's going to work out because you have too much invested in an odd, omnipresent push build. That's not really going to help out the team.
There's just not enough health in the team fights.
Exactly. Same with Lost Vikings. All 3 of those, really.
Yeah.
Also, Hammer, great addition to a team of, your normal build team, warrior, support, and 2 assassins. But you put a Gazlo and a Hammer together, and all of a sudden there is a very vulnerable hole in your line. And no longer are you holding a position because people will just dive right into it and take you both out.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point.
So it's really about where you're investing your damage, I think, is the most important way to think of it. Anubarak right now is so powerful in the double tank comp because he does a ton of damage. You mix him with Tyrael, 2 guys probably, in the ideal situation, the guys you wouldn't want to tank all the damage. But together, divide among the 2 of them with their damage, you're making up for that deficit with extra health. We had a game this afternoon where the first 2 heroes in our Heroes League ended up being Jaina and Kael'thas. That's a ton of burst. Like, wizard team for the win, but there was a hole there. And I ended up filling it with Tassadar because we needed someone with just enough damage to clean up, just get those last couple auto attacks out, and someone to help support these 2 wizards that were going to explode because Rhaegar has some slow cooldowns on his heals.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And also because the first 2 picks on our team were Jaina and KT, the first pick, one of the early picks from the other team was Zeratul. So Tassadar also being able to reveal stealth heroes. Another really good pick. And also his shield stops Zeratul from being able to blow up a squishy like KT or Jaina.
Exactly, but then you take that situation, and we had Johanna as our tank. No damage. Tassadar, damage. Like, these things just kind of worked out well. If you replace Johanna with an Nubarak, we're getting a little deep here. But then you can go that Tyrael now. So it's this give and take. Really, the most important thing you need to be thinking about for your team is, do you have a dedicated healer, one of the real supports? Do you have a tank? And then, biggest question, do you have enough damage to win?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're trying to come up with like a simple rule of thumb, I wouldn't advocate for more than 1 specialist at a time. You can break that rule if one of those specialists is Sylvanas. You probably be just fine with a Murky or a Gazlo or a Hammer. it's not the comp I would definitely love to have and would hope for, but I think you could still take a game.
Definitely. I mean, really, when you get right down to it, it's a lot like we just told Archmonkey. You should play what you're best at and really get used to that kind of hero, and then all of a sudden you'll notice these holes in your play. Like Tychus. I feel like I have enough skill to dodge skill shots. I can dodge Kael'thas' stun, I can dodge a Nubarak, Spines, I can dodge his dig, but you give me something like a Brightwing I'm up against, or an Uther, those are really easy to target. You just click on the person, stun them, lock them down. Tychus sucks in that situation. So I had to find something else to fill that hole. So if you really invest yourself into one hero, you're gonna figure it out. And you can use hot slogs to help you.
Yes. Keeps you true. Upload all your games. Ian wrote in and asked, can you cover what to pick? Generally, if you are solo and randomly get spot X.
So let's ignore everything we just said about making a balanced team, because
All
this
right.
is a very different question.
Kyle, you have to warrior. You have to warrior right now. 10 seconds left on the clock because you were dilly-dallying. What warrior do you pick?
Well, an Uberak.
Well, it's 10 seconds left and an Uberak's probably been taken.
Oh, okay, I gotta go Diablo then.
Okay.
Diablo's taken. Then I'll take Muradin, but that's like a 33% win rate. We don't want that land. All the same, when you get in, you do expect, I think in general when people have been playing for a while, you do expect certain picks to come in certain locations. Like, I always want to see stealth picks be the last one because I want to make sure they don't get countered by a Tassadar or something else along those lines that would be very difficult for a stealth to deal with. I don't want to see Abathur first picks because those make me nervous. That's a hero that's very dependent on his team.
Oh, man, that horrifies me.
But as we talked about earlier today, first pick, basically any of the main supports, you're not really going to have any problems with.
Yeah. I really want to get good at Nova so I can counter the team that gets both mages. Gets the Jane KT.
I've got quite a bit of practice into a Zeratul for that very reason, but again, I only pick him when I'm last, and I know the other team has enough squishies for me to play a Zeratul in that situation.
Yeah. What was I thinking? Oh, okay. If I had to warrior on the spot, obviously my first pick right now is a Nubarak, but then I immediately default to Johanna because Nubarak's usually taken, and then if I have to go after that, I go to ETC. That's my pick list for warriors at the moment. If I had to support on the spot out of nowhere, and Brightwing was taken, I would probably go to Uther. If Uther wasn't taken, I'd probably go to Malfurion.
Sure, so you're advocating that if you're in the first couple spots, those should be tanks or healers.
No, he just said if you get in X spot, so I'm assuming this is you were the last pick on your team and no one took a key role. That's how I see this, which it happens. You know, you get last pick, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
No one took a support. You got to take a support. No one took a warrior. You have to take a warrior.
There isn't any sort of like etiquette, and as far as we know, there's no system outside of groups that cause your order. If you're in a group with other people, whoever the party of that group leader is, they'll go before you. So that's why in our games this afternoon, Garrett, you always went before Ben and I, because you were the leader of our party.
Yep.
That doesn't mean you'll be first. You could be behind the other two random people, but you would always be the first one in that group. So if you're playing with other people, put the most experienced hero above you if you're nervous about making a quick selection.
Right, absolutely. And I can't say I'm really ever in the position where I have to snap pick an assassin.
No, because usually everyone just picks an assassin first.
Everyone wants to kill people.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's what everyone wants to do.
But generally, the last two people do need to be open enough. And if you are concerned about your etiquette, how to act in these situations, the best thing you can do is just list what you're good at. You get in there, and I've seen people scream, "I'm not a support. I'm awful."
And I appreciate that, to be completely honest.
Yeah, no one wants that last guy who can't tank to be the tank.
Yeah, because as much as I prefer to just chain solo queue hero leagues as an assassin, you know, I'd rather win the game. So yeah, okay, if I have to take Brightwing for the umpteenth time this week, I'll take Brightwing.
Yep. So first place, your very first pick on your team, do whatever you can to pick something that's uncounterable. And if you're in the last two spots, be prepared to fill. And you basically got the etiquette down.
Yeah, and if you're in the last spot and a warrior or a support hasn't been taken, look at the opposing team and see if you can counter anything. If you see Jaina and KT, grab a Nova or a Zeratul if you're good with them, because they're going to be able to kill them so fast they won't know what hit them. If you're seeing a lot of stealthies on the other team, grab Tassadar. He's wonderful. What other counter picks would you recommend?
Oh, there's so many, and it goes to speak to MOBAs just how intricate they are, because there's a whole language hidden under everything. If you find yourself in a perfectly balanced team, like let's say you landed in Candyland, you got your support, you got a tank, and you got 2 assassins. It's up to you completely to decide what you're going to add to the team. That's when you finally get to have the choice of, do we have the pusher? Do we have the auto attack cleanup? Do we have enough burst? And there you're really kind of thinking outside of roles and more just what you're good at and what you're trying to deliver.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Sweet. And then finally, we're going to take a question from Chiana, you just want to say that Chiana did an awesome write-up of his free-to-play hero purchases, and we actually have them all on the notes.
Yeah, so check out the notes to this week's show. It was back in episode 53 that we went over some of the free-to-play purchases, and we were curious about how long it would take people to get enough heroes playing free-to-play to get into Hero League. So Gina wrote in here, told us that 3 games a day for 6 weeks will get you all the gold you need, 52,000. And that's how he ended up getting into Hero League. He's rank 1, so congratulations.
That's really cool. Oh my God, looking at the math in here. Just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pile of math, so investigate at your own leisure.
Yeah. Check it out. Let's move on to this week's wish list.
For ire.
The guilty will suffer.
Is there something amiss?
All the tribes, haste to my blade!
None survive. I must hunt you. Face your Nexus.
At least I have chicken.
Hey, welcome to Wishlist, where you tell us what you would like to see added to the game, and you can do so by emailing us at itncast@gmail.com. Our wish list this week comes to us from Russin and Drexen, and they want to see Ysera the Dreamer added to Heroes of the Storm.
As a support, no less. Which I think is a good fit.
What else would you have Ysera be?
Asleep? The whole time? Just replaces the core?
So we're going to replace AFK Abathur report with AFK Ysera.
Oh, how awesome would that be? They need a sleep function. Go AFK, you just fall asleep.
God.
Emerald Dream, we'll call it.
Yeah, why not?
So Ysera, she didn't really do much in World of Warcraft other than sleep, right? I mean, she has a human form that would most likely make it into the game.
Yep.
Because otherwise she's a big-ass dragon.
It's probably a scantily clad, attractive elf.
Well, why not? I mean, not only are you using true polymorph carrot, so you can choose exactly what your body looks like, underneath your physical exterior, you are a frickin' dragon. Do you have any idea how I would dress in that situation? However the hell I wanted. I mean, what's someone gonna do? Hey, nice trench coat, jackass. I'm a dragon underneath this. This trench coat folds into my wings when I transform.
I would just be nude all the time.
This fedora here, horns just explode from my forehead. The fedora is in shreds. Like, nobody cares anymore.
See, that's how it plays on my head. She's running around in her elf form and then has some type of ultimate that transforms her into her dragon form.
Definitely. Or if not that, some sort of ghostly version of her that flies out like Arthas's ultimate and suggests that she's a dragon on the inside.
Yeah. I mean, you could have an effect like that. Like, imagine Arthas's Syndragosa attack if he went with Syndragosa.
Wrote it.
So basically, imagine Ysera turns into her dragon form, flies over, does a big stream of fire or something in a straight line, and then comes back down, lands in her human form.
Right, you just happen to sort of leave the game for a little bit.
Right. So you'd be invulnerable or whatever during that short amount of time.
Hey, but these guys put a lot of work into doing their own build.
Yes, absolutely. And as with everyone who sends us wish list suggestions, you guys put so much effort into this. You do everything. Eye of Ysera as the trait, which they say would trick enemy towers to attack friendly previously enemy units or structures within range for 5 seconds. I think that's so cool.
You know, I would totally say, what? No, this would never happen. But we have Sylvanas in game, and I think I would say that would never happen. So
Imagine
bring
you
it.
throw this on one of the towers and it just turns and starts shooting the other tower.
Yeah, blowing away some ammo.
But then my question is, does the other tower then see that as an enemy and you get double the bang for your buck because the towers just start attacking each other?
That'd be interesting. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be, I feel like for balance purposes, you have to not let that happen because that'd be ridiculous.
Right, it would just get some greeny dream stuff around it, and it would just start attacking things in the area. Either way, you're wasting ammo, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd... Well, I guess if it could work on minions, but tower-only traits would be a bit of a bummer come mid-game.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Once all the lanes are pushed out, that'd be not super exciting. Black Arrow is great for Sylvanas because at least you can still stun creeps and mercs and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna jump right down to the heroics. Portal Jockey. Yeah. Do it. Oh wait, sorry, those are the level 20 variations. I jumped too far. So they said they'd like to see Ysera for her first heroic have a heroic that's called Escape to the Emerald Dream, which opens a portal to the Emerald Dream for a quick escape and transports her 15 yards away.
That's pretty cool.
That'd be neat. I mean, I feel like it needs a little jazz or something to set it apart from, Blink.
Sure, the first place I go is, old Dota heroes. One that hasn't made it into Dota 2 yet, actually, is Pit Lord. And his ultimate was these orbs would fly out around him, and if you stood in that area, you would teleport with him to wherever he's off to.
Ah, that would be really cool.
So kind of like, and that's exactly what they're saying happens with their level 20 augment of this ability. It leaves it open for 8 seconds for teammates to go through.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to see it with enemies. Or you just throw a heal on top, like heals herself when she leaves the portal or something. Just something, a little extra seasoning.
I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. Skolomance, wizard at the end, and he teleport you into random rooms.
I know the boss you're talking about, but I do not know the guy's name.
You get that darn staff, and in vanilla it was badass, at least as far as my unrating butt knew. Help me out, chat, but that's a ability I've wanted in MOBAs for so long, just to be teleported to a pocket dimension where you can one-on-one someone.
That'd be so neat.
Grandaling?
Wow. Chat room.
Dark Mat, nice.
Wow. They're on it. And then the second option for the heroic for Ysera, Nature's Influence. Green Dragonflight heals area for 10 seconds in an AoE. If canceled, the Dragonflight directly applies 50% of its remaining healing to all friendly targets within the radius. Damn!
That's pretty cool.
That is cool. I like that.
So it's
like
an attackable tranquility.
Yeah.
Kind of like set down a tower, a healing ward basically, but it's a big old green dragon flying in. I like that.
No, if you can cancel it, I'm assuming it would be channeled.
That's true. And that would make sense for a support.
Yeah. Whatever the case.
I'm
Very
still
neat.
having trouble balancing the idea of 1,000 cups, I'm stuck throwing cups and I can be interrupted, to Malfurion getting to auto-attack, use all his spells while he's going. Just doesn't seem even.
Yeah. I don't know.
But at any rate, sleep mechanics, we got to have them throughout this, and they did not disappoint. Check out the full build over in our show notes. But, man, yeah, sleep is an annoying mechanic in MOBAs, but you got to have it on someone, right? Put someone to sleep. If they're attacked, then the enemy who hit them goes to sleep, or if a friendly unit touches them, they fall asleep. Chain sleep, man.
You're basically Jigglypuff from Smash Brothers.
And then you have to wiggle real close to him.
I remember people trying to... Oh, God.
It was impossible in the first one, but that second one, where they gave him that darn charge-up roll thing, that was dumb as heck.
Yep.
Knew some really good Jigglypuffs in my day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Freaking, man, I love Smash Brothers. Makes me want to go get a Wii U. But that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and what, Splatoon?
Splatoon. Apparently amazing.
Apparently.
I've heard nothing but the highest praise. And I remember, like, seeing the game coming out, I'm just like, I have no idea how to feel about this strange-looking game.
It's kind of like you're playing Doom, and then all of a sudden your friend walks into her kindergarten's room and says, "Dude, get in here, this is awesome." You're like, are you serious?
Yeah. That's how it was with Pokemon, man.
Well, yeah, I was young enough at the time.
Dude, I remember seeing the commercial for Pokemon and just being like, this looks like the stupidest game on the face of the earth.
Well, that's because it was that vacuum that made no sense.
Oh, the one I remember was them getting on a bus. And it was like, gotta catch them all. And there's a kid on the bus with his Game Boy playing. But like the bus stops and Pikachu gets on the bus. I don't know. Whatever. You know what were the best damn commercials were the original Super Smash Bros. Commercials with the big fuzzy Nintendo mascots beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah, you and me, no matter how we toss the dice.
Yeah.
That was good.
The only one for me is you. Man. Nostalgia, Kyle. Nostalgia.
Well, either way, regardless if it's your Sarah or someone else, we need some Dragonflight in this game. Kind of a big faction.
No. Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised we haven't gotten Deathwing yet. Like, it was one of the first things that popped in my head when this game was announced. Like, oh, I love Deathwing.
We even have recorded lines. There's even lines in the files for Deathwing.
Again, all of these, I think they would be in their humanoid form and then have some type of heroic that shows their dragon side. I don't know. Because you can't just have a giant dragon running around.
We didn't ever see the Time Dragon's human form, did we?
That would have been Nosdormu?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the Dragon Soul raid, you see like all of the aspects.
Gotcha. All lined up. That's the guy I want most.
He basically looks like a blood elf. Yeah, he's cool. He's got like sand in his shoulder armor.
You mean he looks exactly however the hell he wants?
Sorry. He looks exactly... Well, they always look the same every time you see him in the humanoid form. Just roll with me here, Kyle.
If someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Exactly. All right, let's take an email or two.
Darkness, stop calling.
I hear the wilds call. Wait, nature calls.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
Send your emails to the same place, itncast@gmail.com. Our email today comes to us from Sam, and he writes, Hey, ITN. I am a pretty recent LOL convert who recently started playing HOTS, Heroes, around the same time that Kel'Thas came out.
Just a couple more months, man. That'll be love then.
It'll be what?
Love?
Lotfa.
It's not going to be an easy one.
Lotfa.
Wait, we didn't do that for Wings of Liberty, though. We just went Wings. So maybe we'll just do Void. Or Legacy.
I've just been championing Heroes for so long, because I think it was BlizzCon last year, where we asked somebody from Blizzard, like, what do you guys call it internally? Like, because you clearly don't call it HOTS. Like, we just call it Heroes. That's what we call it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, why didn't everyone just call it Heroes? And unfortunately, HOTS seems to be sticking, Kyle.
Let's change it. Heroes.
Stay
strong.
I'm only stopping because we recently got an email. It's like, why do you hate it so much? I'm just like, just because it's something I've been trying. I beat it into my own head, like when I heard from like Blizzard folk that they just call it Heroes. So now I'm just like, no, don't call it HOTS. We already have Heart of the Swarm.
Bruisers, Knights, Tomatoes.
Yeah. Anyway, he said, I'm finally at the point where I can play Heroes League, and I'm sitting at the 2-win and 6-loss record so far. I'll admit it, I'm getting pretty frustrated, and I'm not sure what to do. At level 49, people aren't, or I'm assuming he means rank 49, people aren't really working together as a cohesive team. I think the best approach is to focus on my game and how I can impact a game in the most positive way. That being said, should I focus on mastering one or two heroes, or should I keep expanding my roster and dabbling in multiple heroes that fill multiple roles? I like the idea of being more flexible and filling whatever role my team happens to need, but sometimes I wonder if I would be more helpful if I was just amazing with one of my favorites. Thanks for the awesome podcast. It has made an excellent addition to the time I spend at work this summer cleaning rental trumpets and trombones at a local music store. That is, without a doubt, the most interesting job I've heard someone has so far.
Oh, all I can think about is spit valves, and that is a grody work.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're dry by the time they get to him in the back.
I've rented scuba diving equipment before. It's not the end of the world.
No, and I've rented brass instruments. But
you got to do what you got to do. He said, I also have to give a shout out to Kyle's solo Q&A. I really love the advice and explanations he gives throughout the stream, and I especially love how positive he is all the time. It's so inspiring. I personally find his positivity downright irritating, and it bothers me.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
that's
jealous, man. I'm really jealous. I can't do it. I can't do it. One of the t-shirt sites I buy shirts from all the time had a shirt the other day. It said, I apologize for what I say while I'm gaming. And it's just like, that's me. That's me. I get competitive, man. I can't help it.
Years of practice, mainly playing games people don't want to play, so having to like seduce them into it, and having a younger sister who I always had to like, where my parents would come in, is that two player? I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm playing serious, and they're like, well, let your sister play. So you learn to calm down after about 10 years of that. And to her credit, to this day, I will continue to tout that she beat legendary Halo 1 with me.
Nice. I was a total jerk to my brother, man. I just didn't matter how young and how uninitiated with the game he was. I was just like, I'm just gonna crush you into the ground.
That was always fun once or twice to invite someone over and say, hey, have you played Street Fighter? You beat the living crap out of them.
Oh, yeah. I never really was I missed Street Fighter almost entirely. I was a Mortal Kombat player. Yeah. Anyway, to answer Sam's question, I get it, man. I feel him here. I've had multiple games this week where it's just like, can we all agree on something? And at least what I do in these scenarios when I'm solo queuing, like, I just commit to the bad plan.
Yeah.
If I don't agree with what's happening, I still join. I still group up because it is a team game.
There's one situation where I don't do that, and that's bosses. I am very animate about when we should take a boss, and it's when other people are dead. Or we know...
That's the only time where it's safe. Or when they're taking theirs and you're freaking positive they're taking theirs.
Yeah. That's really the only time I voice opinion at a bad idea, is because that can just completely throw a game. If you're stuck half health wailing on the boss and a whole team shows up.
Yep.
Other than that, I would say positivity starts in the lobby, and you got to be kind of aggressively positive about it.
Yeah. Well, he's not really complaining about negativity. He's saying that it's not working as a team, and it sounds to me like he's asking, should I just try and do it alone and be a star, which I don't think works in this game. You can't. There's certain hero. Obviously, if you're playing like a push build like Murky or something, yeah, kind of your job is to be by yourself and try and peel off a hero or two from the team fight by just constantly annoying and constantly being a distraction for your team. But in most cases, if you're out there playing Vala or Kael'thas or whatever, a normal, more traditional hero, not a normal is relative, a more traditional hero, it's best to join in the team effort, whatever the team effort may be. Now, if you can wrangle control of the situation, if you notice that they're listening to your pings, keep pinging, keep setting the tempo. But if they're not, I at least when I'm solo queuing, I try and just suck it up and just go with the team.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are going to be times in this game where you're full pushed out and you need to tell everyone that there is nothing to do and to relax and chill. But the reason I bring up positivity is because all those later situations, agreeing as a team, are made easier because of the early game where you were all friends.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
If you skip that step entirely, you forget the meet and greet that can happen in a lobby, then you end up, your very first exchange with each other is something inflammatory, like, why'd you guys let me die? Instead of someone going, oh darn, apologize for your bad moves. It really helps out. Say, my bad. It's not hard.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of heat out of the team when people know they did poorly, because then the rest of the team goes, well, at least it won't happen again. Or that guy knows he's wrong.
Yeah, I've started doing that. It's amazing what a difference that makes.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Murky. I play Murky and people just start crapping all over me, man.
Sure, that's just, inexperience.
For no reason.
AFK Abathur, Murky sucks. Lost Vikings has died too many times. These are all things that just come with inexperience.
Yeah.
For this guy, don't get obsessed with trying to find counters. That's probably... Because you said you got 2 wins, 6 losses. Depending on what order those came in, you may be, 4 losses down at the moment thinking, all my heroes are crap. It's clearly me. When in fact, the worst thing you could do is stop practicing the things you want to be good at and switching over to counters and trying to be good at everything. And it's just too early in the game's life for you to be that good at that many heroes.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, thanks for your email, Sam, and good luck. You're just starting out. It's 8 games. That does stink. I have had runs like that, and Kyle has had to sit and listen to me just fume. So
it's frustrating when you feel like it's everyone but you. And but I got up to ranked 5, and then I went back to 10, and it hurt a lot. I'm back now at 6, and it took a lot of work to get there, so I certainly understand.
yeah, I finally got out of my 20 rut, and I'm now moving towards 16. But man, it's a slog.
We continue to bring up hot slogs. Ridiculous name. Check out the website. Really the best place to keep yourself honest. Know how well you're actually doing. And plus there's an MMR on there, which can be really encouraging when you're losing games. Losing, winning, but you get to see your hidden number actually advancing, meaning you're going to have better quality games.
Yep. Or you lose 6 games in a row because you feel like it was your team's fault, and your MMR goes down and you fume even more.
Sure. Maybe not. That's not the right time to check it out, maybe.
Yeah. Absolutely. Garrett's personal confessions. Ding, ding. Anyways, that'll do it for this week's show. Thanks again to our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN. You guys rock. Seriously, you're all awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the show. It's still insane that this tool exists now. Like, man, this had been out when we first started. I'm not sure it would have made a big difference.
No,
no one listened to the show.
No, we've put a little bit of work into the background. 5 years, I think, at this point of podcasting. So it's great that we can connect with you all, make bigger investments in this show. Just in general, continue to grow this thing.
Yeah, that's great. It's absolutely great. Thank you again. And also thanks to those of you who are leaving us 5-star reviews in the iTunes store. We really appreciate it. Thanks to Nikki5779, David Twice, and Mythdol. Thank you guys so much. Into the Nexus is produced by amove.tv and Declan H., our Patreon producer. You can see more about this and all of our other amove shows over at amove.tv. You can email us at itncast@gmail.com. You can continue with the conversation over at itncast.reddit.com. We record the show live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/amovetv. Our mobile live stream is also over at alphageekradio.com. You can follow us on Twitter at ITNcast, and big thanks to BrianGriffithMusic.com for our intro music. Go check it out. Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Kyle Ferguson. You can also find on the YouTube on this very stream, twitch.tv/amovetv. My stream, Tuesdays at 1 p.m., solo Q&A. Past couple weeks, I've been doing Quick Match. This particular week, I kind of continued a popular segment from our last 4 weeks, Heroes We're Noobs With. Ended up playing Kerrigan, Hammer, Brightwing. Heroes I'm not particularly good at, but investigating their builds ahead of time, checking out hot slogs, what their numbers are like, and then getting into the games. There next week, we'll be turning to Heroes League. And I'll just shout out again to the patrons. I have time to do that stream and make that available to you guys because of your support. So thank you so much.
It's great, guys. Thank you again. You can find me on Twitter at GarrettArt or over at nomoonart.com for my graphic design portfolio, and Talking Hearthstone over on The Angry Chicken. Go check it out. As a matter of fact, if you go to our YouTube, youtube.com/StarcastShow, show, where all of the VODs and past episodes of this show can be found, Jocelyn and I did a best of 3 in the new Tavern Brawl mode. So go watch that. It's up right now over on youtube.com/StarcastShow. show. That mode is really wacky.
Honestly, dude, I think I'm more excited about you guys continuing to do that sort of thing, that sort of content for the site, than getting to play it myself. That was just a blast to watch.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, actually. I feel like I would have played it just once and then never touched it again for the week. But anyways, just because we aren't running ads at the top of the show doesn't mean these codes are any less awesome. Use the code ITN over at dogcastsystems.com. You will get a 120 gigabyte solid state drive added onto your gaming rig for free, and you will directly support Into the Nexus in the process. Also, use the code ITN over at tweakedaudio.com, where you will get 30% off and free shipping off of your entire order of noise reducing earbuds. This also works across the pond, so if you're sitting and be like, I'm not in North America, it doesn't matter. Use the code, and it works multiple times. Use it as many times as you want. So check them out. We thank them for their support. We thank you for listening, and we will see you all next week for episode 56 of Into the Nexus with special guests from Blizzard Entertainment. But until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.